Hello, friends, benders and non-benders alike. Welcome to Braving the Elements, Nickelodeon's podcast about all things Avatar-verse. I'm Janet Varney.
And I'm Dante Bosco. And Varney, no matter where our conversation goes today, even if it goes like not the way we planned, let's remember to not burn down a 2,000-year-old treasure.
Wow.
Okay?
Right from
I'm just
the
saying.
jump.
I'm just saying.
This is payback for 3 seasons of me teasing you about Zuko. It's been a long time coming.
No,
I
it's
need
been
to
a
sit with this.
long 3 seasons, so I have a lot of time to make it up.
I gotta let it ride. I wonder what my version of there's good people in the Fire Nation, Varney. What's my version of that gonna be?
I don't know, but I do know that there are a lot of good folks.
You made it about that. You can't stop saying it.
And I can stop, but I won't because it's just so true. And there's so much to talk about today. So let's get into episode 2 of Korra.
But we're not doing it by ourselves. Do not worry, everybody. We are joined by the voice of the perpetually cheerful and extremely adorable character of Avatar Aang's granddaughter, Ikki. It's our friend, Darcy Rose Byrnes. Hi, Darcy Rose.
Hi.
Welcome, Darcy Rose.
So good to
Hello, thanks
see
for
you.
having me. You too.
Oh my gosh. Listen, could anyone else have played Ikki? No. Ikki had to be played by Darcy Rose Byrnes.
You look old. How old are you? And why is it so cold in the South Pole? Can we make a campfire and all huddle around it and tell scary stories and make snowmen? And then can you make the snowman move with waterbending and chase us? Wouldn't that be fun? Huh? Wouldn't it?
You are so ebullient, and it's such a. She's
What was
such
that
a,
word?
You're so. You know what ebullient means, Darcy Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy Rose knows.
I'm the only one that remembers.
That's
I think it's just.
She's just so full of energy, and she's so funny. And Ikki could be annoying, quite frankly.
Right.
And she absolutely is not. She's adorable. She's adorable.
She is adorable.
And I love her so much. And I loved working with you and recording with you. And obviously,
How
you and I
old were
stayed
you?
in touch.
How old were you when you were doing it?
I think I was, I want to say 11, maybe 10 or 11 when I started.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you were already such a pro.
I was just a
You
little
had
bit
been-
older than the character was supposed to be.
You've been doing stuff before, though.
Yeah, but it was that was my first big like voiceover. I had done like a series of commercials, and then I booked the commercials, Korra and Sophia the First, all in the same week. It like
that's a
all
good week
happened
right
at once, voiceover wise.
That's a good week.
And did you watch the original series before you did Korra? Did you know about the original
of course.
series? Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was one of those few times because when you get cast as an actor, sometimes it's a new show, sometimes it's an old show, but maybe you're too young to watch it, so you really haven't seen a lot, especially when you're a kid actor. But that was one of the few shows that I'd already been familiar with going in, so I kind of knew the history that I was being brought into. So it was like a little bit of nervous excitement added to that. I'm like, oh, I'm Aang's granddaughter. Okay,
Of
it's gonna be cool.
And were you excited about being an airbender? Not many of those
I was.
airbenders out there, you know.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You
Bringing back the tribe.
gotta bring back that whole group. Also, I feel like because we don't have, we love the first series. We love the first series so much, and there is less of the sort of childlike goofiness in our other characters,
There's less
in our
children.
teenagers.
There's less children.
Frankly, there's less children.
But
So having especially Ikki and Milo kind of help represent that very joyful young spirit,
Yes.
I think is also like, we needed that. That's part of the bridge for the 2 shows, I think.
Yeah, it was also a nice nod of normalcy that it added, because like the first season, all the kids, they were kids, and so you have that childlike energy, but they were also like going through a war,
Right.
being
Good
the
point.
last of their kind. So even though you're a child, you really don't have the luxury of being childlike. So kind of getting to see Aang's descendants just be goofballs because they can was like a nice
Point.
thing to see.
Absolutely.
I love them because I grew up with one of 5 kids, and 3 of us are very close in age, like 18 months apart, and so it reminded me of us as little kids just being crazy. It was really fun, and we were break dancers, so we had our own skill. And you guys are so skilled. Like when I first saw you guys, like, oh my god, they're little airbenders, and they're so good.
I know. They're so good
They're so
right
good.
away.
I was a little
It's
jealous.
so cool. You see them come in. They've got their air scooters. They've got
Yeah.
their gliders. They got all of that
They're
locked
showing
in.
Korra what to do.
They're showing.
Yeah.
They're showing Korra how to do it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, you
Korra
just
needed
do
help.
it like this.
Don't force your way through! Dance like the wind! Be the leaf!
Not only that, but
It's just like this.
yeah.
Korra's like, what?
She's like, what? No, they end up, I mean, foreshadow report a little bit. We see maybe a little bit of a pinch of it in here, but, you know, they're also giving her relationship advice. So these girls are very important. They're very important to Korra. But I will say, if I may continue the parallel, in the same way that our young airbenders are so skilled when they came in and so comfortable in their space. That's why I was like, there's no way that was your first job, because you came in and, you know, we all recorded together, of course, as with the first series. And you just came in. And I remember meeting you right away and being like, I don't want to say kindred spirit, but just a sense of like, you just came in like, hi, I'm your peer. We're going to be working together. Like, we both belong here. You know, you were just lovely.
I'm half your height, but we are working together.
I'd never know it. I'd never know it.
I can't reach the mic, but
no, you were a huge pro. You have continued working. You're working right now. You're not in the studio with us because you're working. Can you tell us what you're working on, or is it hush hush?
No, it's not. It's not hush hush. I'm in rehearsals right now for a musical called The Remarkable Mr. Holmes. So if you like murder mysteries, if you like comedy, if you like musical, this is all of those things. This is my second show with the Laguna Playhouse. I was just Rapunzel in a show called Rapunzel and Her Holiday Wish in December, which was a panto, and I got screamed at by a bunch of kids the entire time, which is surprisingly satisfying. I guess that's why you liked Ikki.
That's why.
Yeah, and so going back in for show number 2, and I'm playing 3 roles. Phyllis, who is dumb as a box of rocks.
Okay.
Rosa, who's in the opening, a murder victim's daughter, and then a newsboy. Who keeps talking about all the murders.
Amazing.
But Phyllis
like
is
a
the
little
main
triple up.
dumb.
Which, by the way, again, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That also happens on the show sometimes. You're in there and there's just a little line here and there, and you're in there to be Ikki, but they're like, you know, while we have you, if you wouldn't mind being the screaming fan or something like that, then
absolutely.
You know, you're very seasoned at like, okay, do I need to totally do like a 180 and be a totally different character in this moment? Like, can do, will do. So
it's truly my favorite thing in the world. We're a very, very small cast playing a very, very large group of people. And so everybody is playing at least, with the exception of a few, everyone is playing like at least 3 characters. So it's really fun to see everybody switch and do something completely different and find new relationships with each other.
That's fantastic.
Sounds amazing.
And it's a musical. Let's not sleep on that, because you are a wonderful singer, and you have got your own music as well. Outside of the Laguna Playhouse. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Yeah. I'm a singer-songwriter. One of the days that I was bored during the COVID pandemic, because I had the luxury of being bored, let's not...
Understood.
It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
I just recorded some of my songs in my whisper room because I wanted to learn how to use Logic Pro X as far as from a producer standpoint. I had written 6 songs for Disney Plus, a show that I was on as an actor called Big Shot, and I pitched a song to them. And then I ended up writing, I think, a total of 6 for them. And so doing that, having to record demos for because I sang it, but then also other people did sing other songs as well. So I had to record demos for them, and I had to learn how to use the program. And that meant that I recorded my whole album after that. And now I'm just... I don't know what to do with it. I'm currently working on the 4th draft of my novel. I keep bouncing around.
I know.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I know.
Darcy Rose.
I know.
That sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear the music.
Yeah, she's amazing. Okay. You know, we got to ask you some of these questions.
Let's get into it.
That
we
have
to ask our guests, and this is, you know,
please.
These are big.
Which are we gonna start with? We can start hot. You gonna start hot?
Going hot.
Let's start hot.
Who do you ship? Baby, you're my forever girl.
Who do you ship in the Legend of Korra? Relationships. Who do you ship?
And I would also like to know who you ship in the original series,
and
too,
the original.
if you have opinion and thoughts.
Well, Legend of Korra, we'll start there. Korra, of course.
I know. It's a
my girl.
classic.
Of course.
It's a classic.
I love Katara and Aang, of course. I also really liked Katara and Zuko. That was kind of the wisps of what could have been were very, very interesting.
Yeah,
as well.
Exactly. So that's very.
That was a good diplomatic answer.
That was a very diplomatic answer for the original.
Smart.
We like that.
Very smart. But not untrue.
Who I ship the most for Legend of Korra would be Korra. It was the end point. It was what everything was leading to, and just the relationship going from just friendship and then having that be discovered along the way into something more is something I think we see a lot of shows where it's like love at first sight, but it's really beautiful to see that's not always the way it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
Well said. Animal Crossing.
Hybrid animals. Do you, and I feel like you will, if you can even choose, because I feel like you, like me, are a big fan of the hybrid animals in both
Yes.
series. Do you have favorite hybrid animals? I'm not even going to ask you for just one. If you can say a couple, you can say a few.
If I had to pick one, there is one, but I just really enjoyed all the different names.
And that's Princess Rainbow. And that's Twinkle Starchild. And that's Juniper Lightning Bug.
Like, they were just entertaining to hear and to say, be like, this, okay, the way it would roll is fun. But I loved, was the squirrel frog.
Oh,
It's really cute.
Frog.
I have a little bit of a thing with frogs. I don't know if
frog,
you can see it on the camera, but I have a little bit of a thing.
oh my gosh.
What is that?
I think
Is it a squirrel
it's
frog?
a frog earring, but it looks like, no, it's just a frog.
I love frogs too.
But, yeah.
I have a lot of frogs
So-
around my house because
Oh.
I just grew up. It was like my favorite little animal too.
That's so cute. How do you feel about Kermit?
Kermit's the homie. Kermit's cool. I like Kermit a lot.
Okay, all right. So squirrel frog. If you had to choose between Naga and Pabu, you want a polar bear dog or you want a fire ferret?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know. Why did I do that to you? I'm asking myself the same question.
I'm going to say fire ferret because I, too, am pocket-sized. And I like the idea of having a little friend that can come with me. Where it's not going to be like, okay, you got to wait outside.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a coffee. I'll
But
meet
you
you
can
in a
ride
minute.
Naga.
You could definitely ride Naga.
That is
I mean, I
true.
can't choose. They both they belong together.
And Naga could swim.
Yeah, I feel like Pabu can swim.
Can he? Heck no. I
But
don't
also,
know.
once you've seen a red panda in real life, you just want any and everything that's the closest thing to that red panda. And
Yes.
certainly a fire ferret is part red panda.
He's part red panda, part
So cute.
fire ferret.
Part
Ferret.
black-footed ferret.
Black-footed
Part
ferret.
black-footed ferret. Yeah.
Ah.
All right, should we go to the big one?
What kind of bender would you be?
I don't know if I want that kind of power.
In the Avatar verse, if you can bend, what kind of bender would you be?
Well, I actually have two answers. I have real life answer and Avatar universe.
Okay.
Okay,
I
let's
like
go,
it.
let's
This
go,
is
let's go,
why
Darcy
we're
Rose.
here. This is why
hear
we're
it.
here.
Let's get
Darcy
into
Rose.
it.
So the Avatar universe answer is I would probably be, I think I'd be a waterbender. I'm a little scared of fire. So probably either air or water, most likely water, because
I think you're probably a nice person. Most likely.
All right,
Well,
if you want to
another
be the
one.
one to say it, sure.
However, what's the other answer? So you're saying or air.
Yeah, I think, well, just because I like the idea of being able to like fly. Obviously they don't fly exactly, but
Pretty
you know,
close.
being able to go on the,
I mean, they can
yeah,
bend
really
air.
close.
They
I
can
like,
bend a lot of air.
Yeah.
right. But probably water. But my real life answer is that I say that I'm a voice bender.
There you go.
Voice bender is an airbender. You
All
know?
right.
Voice benders are airbenders.
I mean, I guess you're bending
Wow.
the
'Cause you're
way
bending
the air
air
is moving through
to sound.
your...
Sound's on the air.
He's trying to put
Wow.
airbending on you.
I'm just saying.
made it-
I'm
he
just-
just made it
want
real.
to be a voice
I'm
bender.
just saying. I mean, Darcy Rose.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I also call like the reaction that you get when you people who really love the Avatar universe fan bending, because they start to bounce.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm in this show, I'm in that show, and they're like, "Oh, that's nice, that's nice. Oh yeah, I watched it with my mom. I was in Avatar: Legend of Korra. Oh my god!" And they start to bounce,
Wow.
no
Which is
matter
a
the
very
age,
Ikki
no matter.
response, by the way. That's very Ikki.
Very
to,
Ikki.
Yeah.
It happened once when I was on a carpet. The lady who has interviewed me heard me talk to someone else about Avatar, and she started to bounce like while we were filming over here.
I love
Like
that.
regardless of where you are, what you're doing, the bounce will happen.
I love
Fan
that.
bending.
I'm going to agree. Parenting is the best job in the world, but it's also the hardest. You're a teacher, a cheerleader, a teething ring. For those moments when you need to give back to yourself, relax with a steaming cup of Be the Leaf tea. Our blend of honey and chamomile will make the destruction of that 2,000-year-old historical treasure feel a million miles away. When life plays hard, be the leaf. Darcy Rose, we have been doing a little something that is new for this season because we want to celebrate one of our favorite aspects of this series, of this book one, which is the character of Shinobi, voiced by Jeff Bennett. I think that was one of the first things that kind of caught on as a meme almost, even just like a real life meme after Korra started airing, is I feel like suddenly people were doing more like, and suddenly people were doing a lot more of these things when they were talking to people about stuff. So we love the Shinobi-Style recap. So we thought, let's have our guests, if they're comfortable, do their iteration of a Shinobi-Style recap with our own version of the recap. So it's not exactly what was said in the original series. It's kind of our own little Braving the Elements twist. Would you do us the honor of doing that? Can you?
I would be honored.
Okay, great.
All right. Okay, here we go. There's a new Avatar in town, and you've got to deal with it. Avatar Korra made a big splash in Republic City when she destroyed some small businesses in order to teach bad guys not to destroy small businesses. This landed Korra in hot water with the chief of police and Tenzin's ex, Lin Beifong.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
That was
so much
Darcy
fun.
Rose, that's pretty good.
Did
That's
a little
pretty good.
voice bending in there to give a little shout out to baby Korra.
I like the baby Korra.
Broke into
line.
some baby K
That's
right
pretty
there.
Good. That's pretty good.
Oh, that was extremely strong. I don't want to say that Jeff would have lost his job if you had decided to do that in the room when we were recording one day back then, but he might have gotten the boot. He might have gotten the boot. That was fantastic. Which takes us to A Leaf in the Wind.
It's a
lovely episode for Tenzin's kids. It was written by Mike DiMartino and Brian Konietzko and directed by Joaquim Dos Santos and Ki-Yun Ryu. In this episode, we see Korra's, I hate to use the word attempts because that seems too positive.
Airbend.
But she is attempting to airbend. They're not going well. But she's loving pro bending, right? She is a huge fan of pro bending. She gets to experience it in this episode up close and personal, right? When a couple of brothers kind of let her into their world. But this is classic, more so even than the first episode, I think. This feels like classic Korra, like, oh, Korra. What are you doing?
She's coming in hot all the time. Korra be coming in very hot for a waterbender. Like, she's got a lot of Fire Nation energy in her because she's like, she can't even look at the airbending exercise at all like an airbender, not even for 1 second. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're defeated before you start.
For sure. But she comes at the enthusiasm. We see in the first episode that she does have the enthusiasm. She wants to conquer, if you will, which is probably not the right attitude. That's already a problem. This fourth element that she just doesn't have a handle on. She even says in this episode, I'm about as opposite an airbender as you can get.
Right.
Often the element that's the most difficult for the Avatar to master is the one most opposite to the Avatar's personality. For Aang, it was earthbending.
Yeah, well, I'm about as opposite an airbender as you can get.
From time to time, I'm asked to write that on a pop or an autograph for good reason. And then here she has, this opportunity to train with Tenzin. We followed her out to Air Temple Island, to Republic City in the first episode. She's settled in. She's totally friends with Tenzin's kids, including Ikki. I love that relationship. I love the relationship that she has with all three of the kids. I think it's wonderful. She clearly respects them. There's no sense of her coming in. I know I'm really trying to sell her on the positives because this is a very frustrating episode for me for Korra. So I'm dwelling on the positives, but she has a great relationship with him, and she's not coming in like a know-it-all.
No.
In terms of like how she treats like those kids, for example, right, guys?
She has no patience.
Yeah. Well,
She can't even meditate with the kids. You're supposed to sit there.
It could be a rather
meditate.
complicated relationship because she's, Aang's reincarnated, but it just feels very like buds.
Yeah.
With the kids.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Korra is a true pro-bending fan. She wants in. She's fascinated. She's excited by it. This is a thing that she really has a lot of enthusiasm about. And in fact, when she's not supposed to be watching pro-bending, she, instead of just like sneaking another way to like listen to it on the radio or watch it somehow, she's like, I guess I'll just go there.
I don't know why she thought it was a good idea. Tenzin said don't do that.
Yeah. She's a teenager. She's a teenager. But she goes to the stadium. She goes to the arena, which, by the way, is a beautiful building. And she sneaks in. She does get caught, and she's about to get kicked out, and then somebody sweeps in.
Oh, Bolin.
Yeah.
Got eyes for her, though. I don't know what his intentions were in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Korra thinks that she does because, right, Darcy Rose, doesn't he say, like, we're not together, and...
Yeah, we're not together. We're just friends.
Yeah, I'm with him.
So, you see, we're together.
Well, not together, more like friends.
Right, friends. No, I didn't mean to imply.
Oh, you implied it.
I think he would take his opportunity if it presented itself.
He got friend zoned real quick.
I'll take the rescue, but not the date.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a record-breaking time of friend zoneness.
The whole
She hadn't even met his brother yet, and he's friend zoned so quick.
So, what'd you think, Korra? Bolin's got some moves, huh?
That's rough, buddy. That's
Well,
sorry.
isn't that nice then? It wasn't about the brother. She didn't friend zone him because of the brother.
I
It
know,
was
but
just like,
I'm a
rounded.
brother, so we know when sometimes brothers, you get friend zoned. Like, I have a lot to say about the brotherly
I bet
stuff
you do.
going on.
I bet you do.
But, he just got friends on his own. Friend zoned on his own merit.
He got friend zone on his, but
Yep.
that's not going to stop him. He's not going to stop trying, and he's certainly very willing to bring her in and let her see from almost like their perspective what the stadium is like, what the experience is. Let's take a look at her really seeing it for the first time, which for many of us is also us seeing it for the first time.
Introducing the Fire Ferrets!
The rookie Ferrets came from out of nowhere and have made it further than anyone expected this season. But tonight, they face their toughest test yet, folks. And they're off. The two teams waste no time trying to blast each other out of Zone 1. Asuk is the first to feel the heat of the Tiger-Dillo. He tries to return the favor, but they're too fast for him. While Mako showcases his trademark cool under fire style. But Tiger-Dillos score with a walloping 1-2 combo. Can their teammate hold on to their Zone 1 territory? Guess not. Mako's over the line. The Tiger-Dillos get the green light and advance into Ferret territory.
Come on, ferrets!
Looks like Hasuk's in trouble. He's in Zone 3, teetering over the brink. And Hasuk takes a dip. He'll be back for round 2, assuming the fabulous Bending brothers can hold their ground until the next round.
Round 1 goes to the Golden Temple Tiger-Dillos!
I love this. First of all, it takes me back to the Blind Bandit.
Sure.
And where we initially saw Bending in a competition situation. In the
Yes.
original series, we see the Boulder, of course, who can forget the Boulder, and the
Pebble.
Blind Bandit. And so now they take it to another level where you're taking this bending and you're making this whole pro bending competition where you take sports and you put in this world. I was really blown away. And to see the rules, you're trying to get the rules. Obviously, you got to have a firebender, a waterbender, and an earthbender. And the stages you're pushing back and you keep getting pushed back until you got to get the people into the drink or whatever to see each round who gets the points. I loved it. I was very fascinated.
My first thing that I noticed was the same thing that you, Dante, was I love the expansion of the universe. I love, in the first series, we saw it for the most part, it was used for fighting, it was used for survival, but it was part of daily life. But now we're seeing it as like a competition, but even more so a structured, now there's fans and stadiums. It's a whole culture around bending for sport. I love that. If then, what else is true?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I love the world building of that. A couple of things. One, Darcy Rose, I'm curious, and Dante, I'm also curious for you, but like, you're a performer. If you go to a musical as a spectator, is part of you like leaning forward in your seat, kind of with that feeling of like, I know this isn't a show I'm in, but like, I would love to be up there right now.
Let me get up there. No, that's what Korra's full-on
That's where
vibe
I'm going
was,
with that.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
Darcy Rose, does that resonate for you too?
100%. I mean, it depends on the show. Like, I'm not gonna
Fair.
go to see Porgy and Bess and be like, I can't wait to do this. Like,
Touche.
but for the most part, if it's especially if it's a really good show, I have that same thing with like writers too. If it's really good, I'm like, oh, I wish I did this, or I wish I was a part of this. That kind of yearn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really see that.
100%.
You're right,
I
Dante.
definitely feel that
Oh, yeah.
like when I go to
She's
open,
like tipping over
open
the
mics
rail.
or like
almost.
there's a poetry, like a slam situation. It's like
Yeah.
the spoken word artist in me is like, oh, I can't. I should get up there and do rock the mic one time.
Yeah.
Same.
And she has that whole energy in this thing.
She's leaning hard into the experience of watching them and that feeling of like, I wanna. But the very beginning part, when we first see her, that first shot of her, when she's just smiling like that, I'm like, I realized that that's how I was smiling watching the scene, because I'm such a nerd for this show that like I was like, it was like a weird mirroring thing, because I was watching that and it cut to her and I realized I was like, which is basically exactly what she was doing. I was like, yeah, okay.
I know, it's so weird. Sometimes
right.
you make some certain facial expressions that remind me so much of you, Varney. Like
Oh yeah,
like I'm like watching Korra and I'm like, that's totally Varney's expression.
that's
right
funny.
there. But also the artwork, something about their uniforms of the pro bending and the style that they're fighting is taking me back to like my early anime experience of like shows like Robotech and things like that. Cause I'm like, oh, that's so Robotech, just the way they look and the style, and it's really very cool for me to watch that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so now let's talk about, we teased it a little bit ago, but what do we think about this whole, I know what you think because you brought it up at the very top of the show. The fact that this is a time-honored tradition. This is a way of learning how to airbend.
Yeah.
They are clearly, this is something that needs to be approached with the deepest respect and patience. The whole point of the entire exercise is to have patience. And by the way, I will say too, I love that, especially with Ikki and Jinora, I love that you see, like with Aang, that just because you have to have patience or you have to be able to be the leaf doesn't mean that you can't also have fun and be silly and playful and all of that kind of stuff. And I think for me, that's one of the things I feel frustrated about, like at Korra, with Korra, for Korra, I don't know. But when you approach something that you see other people having fun doing and it seems so easy, it's just too bad.
It's annoying.
It can be
annoying. It's annoying when it's not fun for you.
But it could be. And I think she's blocked herself, and it's that thing where once you've decided you're not going to be good at something, you're just self-fulfilling that.
That's
right?
true, no matter what.
Have you? Does that resonate for you, Darcy Rose? Like, have that thing where you're like, oh, that's a thing someone else does, but not me.
100%. I had that in my brain with stand-up comedy. I swore up and down for years I was never going to be stand-up comedy. Like, people were like, you're funny. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm in conversation or whatever when you give me a script. Yeah, I'm funny. But no, it's just standing up on stage and making people laugh, not going to happen. And my mom actually kind of forced me to do it, because I had written a song that I couldn't play at my normal coffee house gigs because it was too blue. And she said, it was too blue. And she's like, you're already in the festival with your improv team. Just add yourself in as well. It's 5 minutes. If it's horrible, it's over. Just get it over with and just do it. And I did it. And it was my first ever stand-up. I didn't do open mics. I wasn't in the bar first. Like, the first show I ever did was on the main stage after the 300th recording of VO Buzz Weekly. Just Harnell. It was the reunion of Animaniacs was the episode. So they were all in the audience. My voice director from Sophia the First was in the audience. The first guy who ever trained me in voiceover was in the audience. And I was like, okay, this is going to be horrible. And I won the festival. And yeah. And I won the festival and fell in love with stand-up. But I had convinced myself I was never gonna do it. And then
Darcy
I
Rose
did it. And I was like, this is a part of my personality that I didn't know I needed.
Oh, I love that. That's so well said. And I agree. I mean, the idea of, this is a thing that you don't feel like you relate to, and then suddenly you do, which is kind of what happens with Korra and something kind of clicking in. It just had to be that right environment, as
yet.
it was for you.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet with Korra. She gets clicked in.
Foreshadow report.
We don't know. Foreshadow report. We don't know yet. What I see right now, she can't do nothing.
Foreshadow.
She can't do it.
Foreshadow.
It's not for you right now. She says she doesn't even need it.
All right, look.
She's like, maybe I don't need it. Maybe I'm that one avatar in the last million years that actually doesn't need
terrible.
all 4 elements.
It's
like,
terrible.
really?
It's terrible. She's not really mad at Tenzin. She's mad at herself. We all know it. We've all said those things. We all know what it feels like when you take it out on, you're being hard on yourself, but instead you project it outwards and you say something totally stupid and untrue to someone that you respect. And then you're like, how quickly can I dig myself out of this? How I put myself in the drink on that one. How quickly can I climb out of the drink and dry off and apologize to the person? Let's take a look at that moment with the 2,000-year-old.
Let's see.
God.
Maybe you guys should just watch it. I won't watch it.
I don't. Okay.
Patience, Korra.
Why? Oh.
They break apart.
That was broken.
That was a 2,000-year-old historical treasure. What is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. I've been practicing just like you taught me, but it isn't sinking in, okay? It hasn't clicked like you said it would.
Korra, this isn't something you can
blame him.
force. If you would only listen to me.
I have been, but you know what I think? Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe the reason I haven't learned airbending yet is because you're a terrible teacher.
Stop, Slam.
Maybe.
So,
Yeah, you're a terrible
You're
teacher,
slammed
Daddy.
up.
Don't make it worse. Milo, don't make it worse. Terrible influence on Milo. Oh, that is so.
I get the same response when I see like people in TV shows and movies destroying guitars at the end of a set,
Oh, yeah.
or like
Yes.
musicians when they destroy a guitar. I'm like, I have to look away. It
It's
physically hurts.
painful.
When old-timey movies, when the piano comes crashing down, I'm like, was it at least not playable? Like, why did you do that?
It is like that. It is like that.
I
And
loved how Korra was wearing an airbending outfit, though. Trying to get her in the...
they're
She
She
was
was
so wrong with her, though.
cosplaying. She was cosplaying an airbender at the time,
That part.
but then...
fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you break it.
till you
I
break
mean,
it.
break
Fake
it,
it till
break
you
it all.
totally destroy it. All right, look, here's the thing. I'm begging you both to say that you have gone through something like that, because I have definitely been good at something and then kind of been flying high on being good at something, and then I've been bad at something and my reaction has been extremely over the top, and there's a sense of like, this should be easy because blank was easy.
Right.
Like, can you relate to that?
Right.
Don't leave me
100%.
hanging here.
No, it's hard. I don't destroy things. I'll just...
That is not backing me up. That is not
No,
backing me up.
of course, there's things I've done, and it's not. I don't
I
take it easy.
totally
And instead
understand
of
what you're
jumping in
feeling.
heavy, I'll just back off it.
Darcy Rose.
I
has
won't
my
break
back.
anything.
Darcy Rose.
I'll
has
just
my
step
back.
Yeah, I
out of the
totally.
thing.
No.
Leave out the part about not
Dante,
breaking.
like,
Darcy
don't be mean. I know. I totally understand what you're feeling. I mean, I would totally handle it much better than that. But
You guys! You guys!
I'm not a big breaker of things. I don't like to break things. I'm not a destroyer of things. I just leave it be.
Let's
I'm
move on.
definitely
I'm just
an
mad
accident.
at myself by myself.
I'll definitely like angry or upset about something, and then like stub my toe into the wall.
Right. I'm not gonna
And
blame my
then
teacher.
whoever I'm with
I'm
is
not
like,
gonna
you know, that
blame a
wasn't an
master
accident,
teacher.
right? Like,
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not also.
It's
I am
not
not
me,
a
it's
destructive
you.
person, but
You know the old thing, it's not you, it's me? That's the common, like, it's
Yeah.
not you, it's me. Korra's like, it's not me, it's you.
I know
It's
bad.
definitely you. It's
It's
not
bad.
me.
It's bad.
It's
She
you,
knows
huh?
it's
You're
not.
the problem,
She
it's you.
knows it's
Yeah.
not.
And she's like
him.
huffing and puffing. She's like working herself up. Korra, calm down.
But if you
Relax.
had been raised, and I know I'm going to sing this song a lot this season, if you had been raised with everyone telling you how talented you were and how great you were at everything and
I
what a
know,
natural
I
you
know,
were,
I know.
and they sort of
know.
coddled you, and you kept hearing over and over how preternaturally
It's
great
true.
you were at this, then
Yeah.
you have not been you haven't had the life experience to know what failure feels like, and it can be very scary, especially when you've been told, oh, you're this, oh my God, you're this, and all you have to do now is just this. You just have to do this. Now, you're not great at that, but that's okay because you're going to get that. And then when you're not getting it, it's scary. And a lot of the reasons that we have the reactions that we do in our lives, even the destructive ones, I'm not saying it's okay and I'm not encouraging it, is out of fear. That's my pitch. My pitch is she's very scared that she's not good at it.
That's fascinating. I like that.
And she doesn't know what failure feels like. She's never experienced it. So it's not like, I messed it up. Okay, let me try again tomorrow. I messed it up. I'm worthless. Like, that's not how it works. But she doesn't know that yet.
Like, people ask me in the original cast of Avatar, like, how did it feel, all this stuff? I'm like, we didn't feel anything because we were just going through it. It's now looking back how cool the original show was and the original gang was. I always say it feels like you look back at high school and you realize how cool you were. But we didn't know how cool we were when we were doing it because it had not been done, right? So it's like, oh, we look back and like, we were so cool. And that's cool because if you knew how cool you were while you're doing it, you're probably a jerk.
Yeah.
So you're saying Korra is that situation where she's been cool her whole life because she's known she's the Avatar. Everyone around her's known she's the Avatar, and she's so Avatar-y that the moment she comes into something that she can't do, it's the complete opposite experience that we had.
Yeah.
Right.
And she found out a lot younger that she was the Avatar. So like literally her entire life of consciousness, she's been raised with like, you're the one.
Right. She knew she was
special.
You
have this history. Early. You're the savior of the whole world. Like she has this on her back this entire time.
I agree with you, and I thank you. I thank you both for hearing me out on that. I do want to quickly say, I don't care if Dante wouldn't break anything. A little someone I like to call Zuko.
Zuko.
Look, there is some very similar
breaking stuff,
there.
But
100%.
You know, he yelled at some of the people, other Fire Nation people.
Yeah.
But he's all right. He controls it. He was on wooden boats for a long time and never sunk them. Sunk them.
That's a real testament to his.
That's a good point.
So let's look at this moment with, now Korra is participating. She's playing in the game. She's pro bending. She's learning the rules on the fly. It's not always going perfectly, but there is a point at which she is really pushing and being pushed. And let's see what happens. Let's take a look.
Looks like the Avatar's pro bending debut is going to be cut short. She's been pushed back to Zone 3 and the water is calling her name. It's only a matter of time before... Hold the phone! Stop the presses! She's still in the game, folks! And she's moving like an entirely different player! All of a sudden, the platypus bear strikes her only striking air!
How about that?
The platypus bears have no juice left, but Mako and Bolin are still fresh and juicy.
Fresh and juicy! That's the new name.
I love it.
I was loving it.
I know.
And I love Tenzin was back. I know the old guard we talked about a little earlier about this is like pro bending and it's so disrespectful to the art. I mean, actually, when I was studying Kung Fu and karate when we were younger, and we were breakdancers. And so we were incorporating katas and things into our breakdancing and with music. And originally our Sifu was not happy. He was like, these are same thing. He was like,
sacred,
these are sacred age-old katas and everything, and you're putting them to music, like you're dancing to like Eye of the Tiger, and we're like, but
it feels natural.
Felt like we're celebrating it. We're not disrespecting it, but I felt it has that same push and pull. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I feel like it's a great example of like not every learning situation works for every person. Like Tenzin was trying to make her learn the way all of the other airbenders in history learned, and it took something else completely separate for it to click for her. It was just a nice example of like every single person has their own process on how they process new information and new skills, and she found what works for her.
Yeah, I love that. That's definitely something we can take into the real world, that just because you might not grasp a skill in exactly the same way someone else learned it, that doesn't mean that your brain might just be wired differently, and that we need to embrace that and find ways to cultivate that and nurture that instead of just being rigid and saying, no, there's only one way to do this and, and no other way. So I love that, Darcy Rose. I think that's so true. And also just
I have a question though.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Was she cheating? Because she's not airbending, but
No,
she's using
using a
airbender
technique.
techniques that
She's
she
using-
learned
no, I
from
don't think she's cheating.
airbenders. But
I
anyone
don't think
can
she's
use
cheating. I think she was
techniques.
being. Yeah, she was being. What?
It feels gray area.
It's great. And also, there's no airbenders in the pro bending. I guess that's below
Right.
them
I
as
think,
a whole.
Yeah. I
There's
think it's
none left. It's just Tenzin and the kids.
I guess so. Well, Milo, y'all can get out there in the pro bending scene.
I mean, Darcy Rose broke my brain by accusing Korra of cheating. Now listen, I want you to say, I want to save that conversation for the end.
I don't
when we
think
sort
it's
of talk about our hot
bending.
takes because I think you
is-
might be onto something, but I also am like horrified by that. So let's push away from that for a moment. But I do want to come back to it. Don't ask me why. But I'm going to very quickly say, speaking of these kind of beautiful parental figures in the shows, here you have this amazing character in Tenzin who is reminiscent of Iroh in the sense that I think for me emotionally, and JK is so perfect for this because I felt this in the room, like I wanted to please no one more than I wanted to please JK Simmons as an actor to actor. So that very much parallels like the moment when Tenzin is proud of Korra is very emotional for me. It really feels like that is the person you want to win over. That is not an easy person to win over. And so when that person is proud of you, you feel it so deeply and it feels extra good, I guess is where I'm going with that. Darcy Rose, do you have an experience like that where you're sort of pushed up against the wall in some way and something clicks for you? And it's totally okay if that doesn't, you don't have like a perfect example, but
There's always those moments when something clicks. It's always right after it's really, really frustrating. I think I get it a lot with musicianship. My hands have always been trying to keep up with what I hear in my brain. There was like this one section of reading that sheet music and trying to get my hands to do it where I was just like, I don't understand. I know she's a human. She's got 10 fingers. How did she write this? How is she playing this? And then when it finally clicks, it's like, it just feels like an expansion, like something is
Get in the
opened
flow.
up. And it's like, oh, got it.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little bit for 1 second about, Dante's been doing these predictions. We've been having Dante predict what he thinks is going to happen in the next episode of Legend of Korra, whether he's predicting it off of what the title is or what happened in the episode that we just had watched. So I would love to know from you. Let's just revisit together as a group because Darcy Rose hasn't heard your prediction.
Right.
What did you predict for the episode A Leaf in the Wind?
Okay, A Leaf in the Wind, episode 2. My first prediction was she'd meet her new gang, which some of them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Fair enough.
And then number 2, find out what the adversary wants because we just had that little amount. We didn't really find out any of that stuff.
Not yet. Good guess though.
All right. And then number 3, I was like, find out why Toph's daughter's so mean. Why she's so mean?
We don't know yet.
Your mom was cool. We're homies. What's wrong with you?
Her mom was cool, but her mom was also mean.
Her mom
she
was
was
also
a cool mean.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, she was.
Ornery.
Talk about a person you want to win over.
That's very true. That's very true. She did not suffer fools gladly. Okay, Darcy Rose, we are going to do something with you now. In a perfect world, you would be here with us and you would be the person physically doing this, but we'd like to start a little tradition on the show called Uncle Iroh's Tea Time.
Yes, little tea time.
It's Iroh's Tea Time.
Let's make some tea.
So often in the last series, when we were covering it, all last 3 seasons, we would find that there were these moments that something that Uncle Iroh said was so resonant. It felt like it sort of wrapped everything up in a perfect bow. I've got my Iroh shirt on in the moment. And so we thought maybe to honor and keep Iroh in our hearts, and obviously we might be spending a little time with him in the future as well, foreshadow report. But until then, we've got this full of quotes, and we're going to see, we would have you, if you were here, pull out a quote from the teapot, and we're gonna see if it resonates. So you wanna read this?
Yeah,
I love this.
I'm certain you will win if we play again.
I'm certain you will win if we play again.
Knockout! The fire ferrets come from way behind and steal the win.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
That's
Win
great.
If we play again. Shout out to Uncle Iroh.
I
That's
know.
That's a good quote.
That worked out beautifully.
It did.
She did it. We should have done that before we saw the last part of the episode because he was right. He was right.
He was
there.
right. He was right. Uncle Iroh's always right.
He is so good.
Also, I think we have to shout out Bruce Lee. I think "Be the Leaf" is an ode to Bruce Lee.
yeah.
Be the water.
Yeah.
Which is very cool.
Yeah. Fly like a butterfly, sting like a leaf.
There you go.
That's not what the saying is from Muhammad Ali at all. We tried. Okay, so there we go with our wonderful, he showed up for us. Uncle Iroh showed up for us. We've got a great quote that worked perfectly with A Leaf in the Wind. All right, that just leaves us with talking about the most valuable bending and non-bending in the episode, and then what you think's going to happen in the next episode of Legend of Korra. Darcy Rose, who do you think had the most valuable bending in the episode, and why?
And tonight's most valuable bender is...
I can still fight!
Maybe her new friends.
Yeah?
Maybe Bolin. Because he was teaching her the different earthbending stances.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. You have any other ones?
It's a very pro bending episode. Nobody's
a lot of bending, but it wasn't. Nothing was like dire about it at the moment.
Right. Yeah. Although if you're a sports fan, you feel like it's the most dire thing in the world. Like Mako pulling out that hat trick.
The hat trick was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was really
epic.
That was really he's the goat.
That was a good moment
that was
too.
Sexy. That was sexy, Mako. That was sexy.
And then we don't have this category, but if we had the category of least valuable bending, I think we can all agree that Korra's destruction of the
2,000-year-old treasure.
That was a 2,000-year-old historical treasure.
Not great. So that's why we're going to move on to most valuable non-bending.
Most valuable non-bending is probably her doing the air nomad
100% agree.
Footsteps. Not bending.
Yeah.
But very valuable. Not bending. Yes. Darcy Rose. Not bending.
Not bending.
I like this.
But using technique.
Okay.
I'm probably not going to argue with that. That feels pretty good. But also people give a lot of really nice advice in this. I think, all of the kind of people showing up for each other, like even Pema kind of showing up for, I don't know. The familiar relationships in this one are really nice.
Although I think there's the amusement park for Avatar. I think they need to have those 2,000-year-old, the I don't know what you want to call them, the corridors,
those panels,
panel corridors. But obviously padded, panels, not wood.
Yeah.
But they got to have those around for us to walk through,
to bob around
to
in,
see who has the footwork to get through this thing.
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna get pinballed through and just get bounced.
Exactly. Which would be fun too.
Agree.
You just can't set them on fire.
Oh, I like this. I like that we're building new rides for this place that we're gonna also have to build. All right, let's talk about now. We got another episode coming up.
My prediction is you can't really tell the future.
This episode is called, and this is a very, I don't know what this title is gonna mean, but the next title is The Revelation.
The Revelation.
So what do you think is going to happen in The Revelation, Dante?
So I get, number one, I feel like there's going to be more vibes with Mako.
Okay.
Because there was some vibes popping off.
There were some popping vibes.
There's that long distance, both of them long distance, kind of like gazing, longing. I said, number two, I think Bolin would get jealous. Some jealousy with Bolin.
That's a pretty safe guess.
Possible. And then three, I go, maybe Korra begins to airbend now that she got that footwork together.
All right.
Maybe.
I like that. What do you think the revelation is going to be? Is it going to be a specific thing?
I don't know, like her revelation.
Okay, internal Korra revelation.
Because she's very close to airbending.
Yeah.
Maybe she's like, I know why now I can't airbend.
I like that.
It's because I'm too angry.
Okay, listen, that's fine. That's fine. All right. And so did Dante just change your mind, Darcy, or do you still have a bit of a hot take that Korra might have been cheating with those fancy moves?
Flameo, Hotman!
Hot take.
Oh, you feel that? Hot take. Those fancy non-bending but airbending adjacent moves.
I'm on the fence about it in general. I feel like it's one of those things that they would call a foul and talk in the back and say, was this against the rule? Because they haven't made rules for someone who can bend in multiple different things. But I'm very much of the mindset of any quirky with anything. Like I remember I was playing my Celtic harp, and the way I was playing that changed how I played piano. So it's like that's not necessarily cheating. That's just taking in information.
It's just evolution. It's the evolution.
And making you a more versatile performer, or in this case, fighter.
We got to go back to, of course, again, the GOAT, Uncle Iroh, taking from Earthbending to understand how to bend lightning.
Yeah.
He took from Earthbending techniques. That's how the higher ups in the whole style do it, you know.
All right. I feel like Korra's safe, but I think it was a very
astute,
very astute, very plausible, very like good conversation to have.
Very astute observation.
Yeah. Darcy Rose, thank you so much for being with us for A Leaf in the Wind, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you guys next week. Dive deeper into the world of Avatar with more of our award-winning podcasts.
Avatar Braving the Elements is available right here on the Avatar Legends YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts.
And catch more Avatar The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra on Paramount+.
That's the stuff! You are my hero!